다시 될 저도나봐 그냥 들으면서 다시 자르래 들이더라는 들이다가 대배바사마 가자칼 배바데 도대체 가리는
I
것도
can hardly hear anything Rinpoche says, by the way. There's something wrong here.
들이다가 타고래 삼고요래 타는 뭐 말에 타는 뭐 말에 들은 것은 양대요래
That was all I heard. Did Rinpoche say anything before that? Didn't hear anything.
그거는 뭐 다시 내려 들리다면서 다이어트 자료에 들이창마 무슨 타는 머리 마상 이 타는 머리 가래 죽들이 가만도 왔다버리 들이생지 타니 장들이 삼대상 이 대바다 그거 들어가려버리 들이 삼대 대바 그거는 사제를 타니요 동당은 산지에 생도 산지에 미발에 생기는 산지에서
Okay, Billy, there's something wrong with, I heard it, but it's very, very, very low. So I can hear, almost cannot hear Rinpoche. It's not like in the morning. So can you please do something? Let me translate this first. So Dharma friends, Dashi Dele, so now we are meeting again. Please don't think that we are far away, because the body is just like an empty house, but the minds are very close. And the closeness depends on our love and our devotion, our respect that we have. So if we have that, then on the ultimate level, even the Buddha is very close to us, because our own mind and the Buddha's mind are indivisible. All sentient beings are actually Buddhas.
Càng mang minh bài thì mình đâu sống đó xem chỉ tham chế cái chuyện này để cái chuyện bồi hồ bát thế minh bài sẽ bảo là thế sao cho rằng chủ rằng lúc nào số quan trọng rồi để tham chế rồi nó thì sống thì là mình đâu cái tin trong cái rồi cho nên quan nhập tháp công tác mà bồi hồ này quan mình chưa mình chỉ quan sống thế 왕 민항리들이 다 사지 살자도 보고 왕지 까빠들이 무슨 들이다 신강들이 사지 살자도 보고 가는 뭐 대상체가 고도요 봐 그래서 단 체인지 빠져들이 라는 게 지지 관에 같은 바테다 우리 사지 살자도 보고
I really can almost not hear Rinpoche. It doesn't work like that. I don't know what's wrong. I don't think it's different than in the morning. I don't know what to do. Can you do something? Because it's still the same. So today we are receiving empowerment, and okay. So we're starting Zoom. Will I translate later? I just got a message. Yes. Okay. Then I translate later, right?
Hello, everyone. We are having some technical difficulties with the Zoom meeting, so we will end the meeting for the translators and restart the Zoom session. So please stand by.
제가 선이 토마인들이 사제랑 그 깔아들이 선지 남네 상제니 온장으로 좀 접점하셔서 상제 무서 선지 상제니 모시가 가래리는 생서 미는 영원히만 먹는 뭐 셈지 빼놓고서 가봐야 로미가들이 가봐야 차상문에 변도요 말이 강주고 제보래 이제 semzo 제보래 대다 리주고 제보된 게 요래다 리드지 이런 리탐제는 로가를 적어놨니
I can't hear.
거도 왜
Yapko. Big almost not here. And
Ina, can you hear us now?
very, very low. I can hear, but Rinpoche sometimes speaks unclear and then I miss words. It's like that. It is like that. But should I say what he translate first? What he said
Can you
so
hear
far?
us now? Is that better?
No.
How about now?
Just a little more.
Can you hear us now?
So yeah, it's at medium, I would say.
Okay.
Should I just first translate what Rinpoche just said?
Yes.
Yes. That's a little better. So, I'm translating now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I hope I have everything. So we are receiving an empowerment of the Buddha Shakyamuni today. And in general, an empowerment is referred to as a ripening empowerment, that which ripens what is unripe. And what is unripe is like the seed of a flower, and it is the mind of all sentient beings. All sentient beings actually possess Buddha nature. So when the right conditions come together, it ripens. It is just like when a seed is planted into soil and then water and heat and wind and so on come together, then the qualities of the flower will emerge eventually. And so that's the purpose of empowerment. Even if you receive hundreds of different empowerments, they all serve that purpose of ripening. And so among these many empowerments, we are receiving the Buddha Shakyamuni empowerment. who is the Buddha of this aeon in this Pure Land. The teachings are his kindness, and the Buddha himself had said all sentient beings are actually Buddhas. They are only obscured by adventitious stains. When these stains are removed, beings are actually Buddhas. So we all have this seed of Buddha nature within our mind. And when it ripens, it becomes a flower. So for example, it is like electricity that powers a phone. If it's empty and it's not powered, then it's not charged, then it's also of no use. So it's similar to that, this ripening process.
Mundane
So we have a precious human body, and we might think that I'm very happy, And I don't really care if I mature any further or not. I have a happy life. So some people have accumulated some merit in a previous life. So with bodhicitta, they have practiced generosity, ethical conduct, and so on in the past. And as a result of that, now in this life, they experience less suffering, less physical pain, less mental suffering, less difficulties financially, and so forth. So they might feel that that is enough. I don't really care about maturing any further. But it's important that we understand the good quality that comes from maturing and the faults that come from remaining immature. So what is it actually that matures or ripens, or that is immature? Even though we have a mind, that mind is clinging to the existence of an I, a self. That is what makes the mind be immature. And then that is what drags the mind down more and more and causes it to solidify more and more. It is this dualistic grasping of self and other, which then leads to thoughts of attachment and aversion and so on. So then from being a human, we go to the animal realm, and from there we go to the hungry ghost realm, and from there we go to the hell realm. We follow the karmic winds of our afflictions, and then are bound to experience inconceivable suffering. Now we can see humans and animals together. We can see the difference. How much do animals suffer in comparison to humans? Humans have experience much more well-being. And the difference here also lies in how mature one is. The animal possesses less merit, and the human possesses slightly more, and therefore experiences more well-being. A human body is endowed with 6 constituents, 6 elements. And so that also is due to the difference in the level of maturation. And then even amongst humans, there's different kinds of humans. Some have a greater level of wisdom and compassion, and they are able to accept the suffering that they encounter. They understand why they experience happiness. They understand karma. So they know how to create more happiness, and they know how to avoid more suffering in the future. So there's, even among many humans, there's a great difference. There is some people who are able to really care for their parents and everybody else, their community, their country. So they are able to bring benefit to others and also happiness to themselves. So that is the difference if one has just matured a little more. And it's mainly through the twofold bodhicitta that we mature. And we can actually see it in this world. Those individuals who possess love and compassion also possess wisdom, and therefore they are always happy. And then there is others who lack wisdom and who lack compassion, and who have a very strong sense of self-grasping and afflictive emotions. And they go around harming others, killing others, and even killing themselves. So although they're humans, they become spoiled in this way. So it's something we have to think about, because if we don't think about it, then we will not see a difference, and we will just see everybody's the same, everybody's a human being. Of course, and for example, if we don't understand karmic ripening, then we just label someone, oh, he's a bad person, and so on. And it's not that the person is bad, it's just that their mind is immature. That's what makes the difference. And even the slightest maturation makes a difference. And those human beings experience more happiness. There are some who can do many good things for their country, and the other people can really benefit them. For example, in this world there is spiritual teachers, masters, who with an altruistic mind can do many great things to benefit others. Also in the worldly tradition, in the worldly ways of humans, there are many people who are able to do these things. Or in the Dharma, we are able to find our way in this life and in future lives. So the difference lies in being or not being mature. And even the slightest maturation leads to such a result. So ultimately then, when sentient beings ripen into Buddhas, they become then an embodiment of the Buddha's 3 kayas. So the ultimate result is the attainment of those qualities of the 3 kayas.
나다 강리 마음에 벌써 지든 자공적으로 차대 요래 선대 자공의 최인적들이 선대들이 다지 니지 라테인들이 말바르들이 자공적으로 차들이 사족선도 좋으라고 되게 저대 저다 쇼쇼가 뒤수거들이 초용진이 도고요래 자공대에서 쇼가 특별 강의들이 다 다다다는들이 무슨 컴포텐지를 못 치게 다주 공부하고 송고요래 뒤는 가래 송고래잖아 들이들 신자시 사제사와 제송 똑같이 뒤송고 송가래 들이 이게 가래 시랍라 저티베 시랍당 탐제베 시랍 저티베 시랍 맹담다 송고요래 인나 동네들이 시랍을 맹레스 대신 뭐지 시랍 강의 세르레 센데 제tam들이 다디게 토리 제다 돌아오는들이 돌들이 난 센터 돌아오는서 류마 이 남지가 돌아오래 별 미티 주로 상태에서 오는 뒤쪽들이 깨진 잠보 들리가 야고 사zam보 저다 돌아올 때도 시랍과 하고는 시랍데 랑나 핀바다 진을 대와대 하고는 롱니티 시랍 가까운 말이야 대리적 다시보들 체디 대와서는 제는 체를 때 다다 잡을게 되지 체를 때 조요 세세 되지 때 센데 저다 삼모 딱 시랍에 도던 시랍에 체를 넣는데 다다 버리게 체를 시랍에 시랍도 뭐 시랍 방 사제래 그래서 상들이 시랍에 직집에 시랍 가면 나중에 다음 요래 오 세드 다시 보면 뭐 하고는 이 가르치고도 잡을는데 가르치고도 상고다면서 다스다 다 잡을는데 다봤더니 다야지는 로토요래지 연락 사지가 체디들이 스스로 대바타지 싶어지 송 체디에 merge 볼라티 디데안데들이 다지 바타버레 사지가 체디 디와디 뭐요 말이지 연락 체디 디와디 용나 그냥 뒤에 상태에 뛰는 시합도 시합을 뛰는 들이 제대로 하는 거요. 뒤에 사와지 시합을 통으로 하지. 이제 뒤에 시합은 다가 시합은 못 해.
So the difference lies in maturity or immaturity. And can understand that if we really examine that more carefully, think about this more carefully, the more mature we become, the more liberated we become. And liberation here is the liberation from suffering. And when sentient beings are immature, they are like an ice block. And even though the ice is actually water, it becomes very solid due to the dualistic grasping at self and other, due to ignorance. The mind freezes into an ice block and it melts through the heat of bodhicitta. And the more it melts, the more of its water-like qualities will become manifest. So that happens even when an ice block melts at least somewhat. The more it melts, the more of these qualities become manifest. For example, in the Gongchik, the Buddha single intent that Khenpo Tenzin Rinpoche is now teaching, it says that all knowable things, everything done in the field of knowable things is done by Buddha. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh said. And so we give it different names. This wisdom, it is called, there's a mundane wisdom, there is a wisdom that transcends the mundane, there's an all-knowing wisdom. It is a quality of Buddha nature that we already have. And it becomes manifest the more we become liberated from self-grasping. And so liberation happens within the mind. When the inner mind becomes liberated, then the outer body and speech will naturally become liberated. So if a person just has at least some love, the more love that person has, the more gentle the person will be. The more gently he will talk, the more positive activities a person will engage in. So it is the cause of one's own benefit and of the happiness of others. And that is in both traditions, the mundane and the spiritual. They're actually not separate. And so even though it is worldly love, worldly happiness, we do experience even the slightest happiness because of love. And now in a mundane sense, the world is developing due to science, and science therefore provides us with external well-being. And in order to do that, they're also making use of wisdom, their intelligence. And that is also rooted in love. So that the intelligence that the scientists are using is also, in essence, this wisdom of the Buddha, really. But it is a mundane wisdom that is still bound to dualistic grasping at self and other. But it's still the mind, and the mind is very precious. And so when they develop things in the world, they think, what do others need? What does this world need? And then they develop things. So this is how this world has now become very developed. So the Buddha said that even though it is mundane happiness, actually in general, mundane happiness, this world has no essence. It is a samsaric existence. But even the slightest happiness within that comes from loving kindness. When there is love, there will be wisdom. And when there is wisdom, we can create happiness. But it comes back to love. So that's the essence of this wisdom mind.
Trijiktive shirabdina ta senta song drone mamboche yore yena senchi so satang chöde te shirabdina daji nidi yobokala te kiwa tan chawa tan dogel madema te imbari te sanji ke shirab mo to ne tribele chukoyon yomchiban suma machi manga nakmo ni shirab mo lo te doji changde 사지 용지들이 사지가 도지 창고 봤다는들이 죽은 도지 창지 맞지면 강남 그런 거지 있어 시합을 거 어때 나갔다 그랬지 이 롱터를 베이지는 오늘 따라했지 이 사도라서 왔냐면 이제 주발람 맹도 거요 있는 그 또 애들이 죽어도지 장대도 마찬가지로 돌아가나 죽어도지 장 야와터지 실용도 제 시간 강의 조성은 들이도 죽고 영체 못 이시라서는 저발에 들었더니 롱가 남는 관심 소송다가 또 사지 찾아서 생기는 홀디니가 상고요 그랬어 롱주도 못 거들 홀디니가 랑 생기지 하고 두고 요래지 다음 제시 매면서 시작 그런 것들이 제시 매고 하고서는 들이 동도나 들이는 홀디는 나와서 롱가 남는 관심 소송 들이 남는 관심 소송 가지고 들이 대바에 죽고 죽었을지도 돼 똑같아요 받아는 거 보여도 그행이도 빼지가라 자그를 싸워야죠 근데 이것들이 사실 진짜 들었고 형대와 대다워서 그래요 그거지 또 삭다서 봐지 이제 뭐라 렌탈 람대도 뚫었어도 들어볼거들이 들이 삭다서 봐도 배는 지금 가면 근데 대학들이 다들 로지디 반을해서 로지들이 구체적으로 상제를 대도 것은 뭐요 띠 토는 거래 상 맞이도 되는 장기와도 저와도 왜 말로 그랬다 시작bar 다지 니지드 마제나 들이 니온나 들이 된두제가 좀 따봐요 받으면 마대 말에 들이 이제 시작 저들이 살치래요 너네를 마대 말에 들이 사제 고맙다면 제시면서 또 세상에 인성배 됐다 하고 그래지
So there's the mundane, the worldly wisdom. For example, in outer science, there's a lot of discussion, dialogue going on. So there's also, it's also a form of wisdom or intelligence. However, for as long as we are bound to self-grasping, to a dualistic perception, we experience birth and death, and we will not transcend suffering. So the Buddha had realized the nature of this intelligence, this wisdom. It is also called the Dharmakaya, Great Mother, which is said to be unarisen, unceasing, the essence of space, the nature of the Buddha Vajradhara. So the Dharmakaya of the Buddha's Dharmakaya is referred to as Vajradhara. It is a nature that is unborn, unceasing, in essence, space. Then, according to the tradition of the scriptures, it is referred to as the middle way, the Madhyamaka. According to the practice blessing lineage, it is referred to as Mahamudra or Dzogchen and so on. So this Dharmakaya Vajradhara is the mind of the Buddha, Shakyamuni, and within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all the Buddhas are one. So it is given different names, the Dharmakaya, the Great Mother, primordial wisdom, and so on, but it is the mind of all the Buddhas. And then the Sambhogakaya, within this is the realization of the Buddha that within this mind, all of samsara and nirvana are contained. And there is nothing in samsara and nirvana which transcends that. So therefore, he understood that samsara and nirvana is this mind. But first he had realized that this mind transcends birth and death. And then having realized this nature, he realized that all appearances of samsara and nirvana are the mind. And so that is the Sambhogakaya. And so then from that appears the Nirmanakaya, so Sambhogakaya was Vairocana, and from that appears the Nirmanakaya Shakyamuni in this world, in this human world, showing us the path, appearing as the Buddha Shakyamuni. So there's a short historical background to the Buddha Shakyamuni, which we will introduce. But now, when the Buddha attained enlightenment, he gained those qualities of the three kayas. This is what we gain when we attain enlightenment. And for as long as we're not enlightened, we are not liberated from suffering wherever we take birth. So for as long as the dualistic grasping at self and other has not become exhausted, for as long as we perceive a duality, everything that we experience is compounded, is impermanent, and therefore it is not beyond suffering. And so for this reason, no matter to what degree we develop the mundane wisdom, it will still not transcend suffering. So to transcend suffering, we have to realize the nature that is beyond birth and death.
내로 터트가 되더니 내로 기와대 도는 시합을 바로서 봐야 되리 이 시합을 바로서 말 강성되나들이 자신이나 수요래 소소랑 의식을 봐도 소수랑 그 내용이 뭐도나 그 탐진 코드 탐진 의식을 주요래 라빈하데 로주도 깨지는 송들이 연구를 했지 대용나 따뜻하지 마토도 가리들 마토니 니오 베들이 소소랑 내lokte 마토들 마토바스 마토발 가리 좀 그래 니디요 이시 멘타고요 말에 대라더니 continuing 남자게 롱디가 감성이 내lok도 나 티바공매도 따뜻한 투장로 좀 탁망고로 투장 지나야 되는 락 세부 내로도 또 어떤 거 따뜻히 티바공을 매스 제만이 바치게 내lok도 바로 시랍사 알고는 매스 내lok도가 되는 명상지에 들었다 그요래 민들이 심지 사지를 민들랑 내lok도 또네 내lok랑 진짜 매바다 나사지미 시라바르스 나카다고 대들이 지 샤응베 동통자다는 선거를 들이 대다가 똑같이 발라들이 심지 마음을 비게들이 성습제를 심지 토리도 남네 토리도 심지 탐제를 비게들이 레타보바 살람이 들이 레타보바 탐제 사족섭 살람이 사족 셈을 미나 들이 사족 셈고 미나 들이 사족 셈고 다들 따르면 말을 체메바 사바 체메바다 이제 체메바 전에 다 세로 그래 다지 메바 하고는 들이 상제도 타톡 상제시 봐대 다지 이제 상리 들이세들 나가도 체메바 체고 차음을 상제시 봐대로 사서 대서 무슨 거래 그들 자기 찾았다 말이야 들이다다 콘테다가 납치 사제고 막 들이 상제는 그냥 마마들이 따다다 이제 길간다 보는데 사지에 통제 세지나 롱거리 축거리 롱거리 시간 장비 박을 세지 동제 시간 당제 도움 못하게 다 똑같이 무슨 매를 똑같이 받들이 매일 찍고 말이 로아를 독 소시 속제라더니 토바를 적도 살짝 토바 찍 말이 살짝 토바 쭉 소고요 가래 제대로 리독스기 생략들이 이 성성이 로아를 독 타게들이 따뜻한 세지가 떠나게요래 내가지 몰랐나는 참이라가 아세 소발에 샥덕 몇명 세가 자승거가 배대다고 그래도 조금 용띠 대다가 용네 그때 용어 세발들이 이제 강단들이 다 사지 로지 다다다 통도 제대로 로지 대 신제 이제 벌써들이 로지 송고요래
And so the nature of the mind, the Buddha also gave that a name on the ultimate level. And it is the perfection of wisdom. And in the perfection of wisdom, the scripture it says that it speaks about the sphere of one's own self-knowing wisdom. When one realizes the nature of one's mind, one realizes that all of samsara and nirvana are the sphere of one's own self-knowing wisdom. And so that means then when one recognizes all appearances as one's own projections, the Sambhogakaya partakes as the enjoyment body, enjoying their own projections. Not having realized that, one grasps at a duality. And this state of mind is not what we call primordial wisdom. Longchen Rabcham had said, when you realize the natural state, there is no higher learning than that. So even if one studies and learns for hundreds of years, if one realizes the nature of the mind, one has completed all learning. Also, Milarepa has said, when you realize the natural state, the nature of mind, aside from realizing the nature of mind, there is no higher wisdom than that. There's no other wisdom than that. And so this realization of the nature of mind is what we call Buddha. So when sentient beings mature in this way, maturing means that they realize the nature of their mind. That is, as it is said in the Heart Sutra also, it is inexpressible in being beyond words and thought. Actually, within that entire meaning is complete. So then, in order to realize that, sentient beings are gradually ripened, matured. Those who are in the 3 lower realms, they first mature into the 3 higher realms. Then those ordinary beings in the 3 higher realms, they mature into the beginning stages of practice. And then beginning practitioners mature into the bodhisattva path and so forth. So in this way, beings are gradually matured until they give rise to immeasurable love and compassion. And through that, then the sense of a self will become exhausted. And when that collapses, then one realizes that self and other do not actually exist. And then finally one awakens into Buddhahood. And awakening into Buddhahood means that all dualistic perception of self and other are cleared away, and the mind becomes vast, like space, not different from space. So this is what we call Buddha, and this is the state of omniscience that the Buddha Shakyamuni had attained. And so he appeared in this world in order to ripen sentient beings in this way. So first from the Dharmakaya, he manifested as a Sambhogakaya in the various pure lands and liberated infinite beings of pure karma in those pure lands. And then for those who cannot see the pure lands, he manifested as a Nirmanakaya in the human world, but not only in the human world, actually, he appeared throughout the 6 realms of samsara. And therefore we speak about the 6 Buddhas who appear in the 6 realms of samsara together with them in order to benefit them there. Therefore, Jamiraga Asya said in the Aspiration of Dewachen that 100 million emanations manifest from his hands, from Amitabha's hands. So he appears in many different ways, and so this is also shown in his story, the historical background, and how he benefits sentient beings, whoever brings him to mind.
제자들도 통합적인 나니 토마티들이 내리들 통도 제든바 제질로 중앙에서 로그인스
So of the 15 Qigong empowerments or sadhanas, the empowerment of the Buddha Shakyamuni of Bodh Gaya is the first one, and now we will read the historical background.
이바 냠이 하게자고 네 담보 감디 잡지들 이사라 저기 잡지들 지야지베세 상기는 진부 좀더 드리사주도 속게 요래지 누마나도 평감 상기 이제 사지시지 야발도 몸에 번로와 로와 담티네 사지 상지를 치바파와 냠이 샤기자고 좀 샤기자고 시서 같은 안에 좀 성담을 사지지 띠바 니마다르사라 네 다보이데 네 팀바를 쇼나 저도 접제 양 상지 동을 타마 뭐가봐 상지 비방한 비에 그네 템발라 상자와 수보단 시장 주배장이 저거 유개발 송래 들이 독단대 유리왕도 세는 사주대 유지고
So for the history, it is foretold that 1,000 Buddhas will appear in this fortunate aeon, the fourth of which is the peerless Lord Shakyamuni. In a past life, when he was born as the minister Gyamsudur, he vowed before the Buddha Ratnagarbha to liberate destitute sentient beings during the time of the 5 degenerations who were left behind by the other Buddhas. Thus, the peerless king of the Shakyas, exalted among all Buddhas, is the Lord who, like the sun, illuminated the Buddha Dharma in our world, Jambudvipa. Whoever enters his teachings, even the worst of criminals, will attain awakening at the time of the last of the 1,000 Buddhas, the Buddha aspiration. Moreover, by merely hearing his name, birth in the lower realms will end. Of the various classes of Tantra, this particular text belongs to the Kriya or Action Tantra, and of the 5 Buddha families, it belongs to the Tathagata or Buddha family.
아바야카라 kopta 라이나 라키타 시바라카라 kopta
That's the lineage.
사타라 kopta 시타 시르바다 상도다 도지 잠티 로자 조디 방로드 템바 사자마데 빈시 사자마데 빈시 sabzang papa mabakunga zombo Lama chi chodi robo lama wa je shama wa chimbo do nyami chi ba je bazar na semba ra chi de ta ko cho do onjon chele zombo java tong kun de ba ko cho tin tin dong de so chi ji jam ji ye dharma sa ya chada khol lu mo tin se pe mi jam ji so to chi ji jam ji 특히 주황 라도 진인으로 고도 특기지만 같이 대비 점지 된진 피질로드 경구시발로드 같이 틀려요 저도 좀 재미도지 생각들이라마 고쳐터지 뭐더니 내가 토바이 내 집에 같이 tenkashi 토요를 들어주더니 라마서지 뭐 자원무지 아크티 근데 토바이 들어왕 주바세.
So Rinpoche just read the lineage masters of this empowerment, and now he himself had received the empowerment. Rinpoche himself had received the empowerment from Lama Thupten Nyingpo. He had received it a few times. So Lama Thupten Nyingpo was the uncle of Holiness, the Dalai Lama.
There's one that I don't want to tell them. Yamsel in Bass, Yamsel in Baratita, Ranagil. That I checked out the Bertrand, they can attack most of the Tontus, Sargelet in the battery, Sabati, Tamjimba, you were in the other Laba Gavishini, Tamji, Gogan, the snow time to talk Sanji, talk Sanji, the Sigibut, Rutan, the Saji that Garchen chopped the container chopped the Dalai. Then the authority Hakore, then getting but sort of stickler, or he talked Saji Chatamusri, some did the Batin, the Laman or Hakore, Telegin by your money, they took the getting Sayama, took the duty, took the thing about the Chupale, they thought some controls on that, they bought Ladici, they don't keep Bogan, control the discipline though, they say and cutting January. There are so what I mean, the Tatandi, Dr. Gombachiba, the Chudena, the Hajan Kichibo, Roma Tamjeri, the Marankan Kanshi, you are married, that's really Mato, Tritata, so come there to cut to Dr. Gombachiba, the Samachi, Kachinam Tabatriti, Chachini, Teta Sama, Hajasam Sunam Chibore, Tritty, Wangtan Kachula, Tritama Shokrati, Tachibore. That one green.
So when having received the empowerment, when we received the empowerment of Buddha Shakyamuni, then engage in practice, we can see really his enlightened activities. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's enlightened activities, in terms of the extent of activities, even exceed those of the Buddha. So he really manifestly appears in this world and is really present in all the spiritual teachers, because we say that in a Sangha, the body is the Sangha, the speech, the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. So the mind of the spiritual master really is the Buddha. The Buddha pervades all forms, all pure lands, all beings, samsara and nirvana. When one realizes the nature of the mind, one understands that. So this is the mind of the Sangha. Within one Sangha, the mind of the Sangha is really the Buddha Shakyamuni. And so that we should recognize as it is. And then even millions of different Sangha have the same mind, the same Buddha nature. And when we see this and we recognize this, then we develop an even deeper faith in the three jewels. And this morning also Khenpo was so kind to teach on the Sutra of recollecting the three jewels. And he's also teaching the Gongchik, which is or the single intent, which is very important for all the disciples. I myself really wouldn't know how to teach on that properly, maybe a few verses here and there, but it is very important. Everything is, that is, especially in times of suffering like this, the Gongchik is really extremely important, and it's a great merit that we are able to receive the teachings and that we have the conditions together to offer them. And so in any case now, this is why the empowerment that we are receiving is very precious. And so now I'm conferring the empowerment.
Lama song ya da tok haro de tok de tong wan ji la de tong wan ji de gang tong de le da ji ni ji me ba to ni ni ji la ji ji dong le ni ji me jiang ne ga che bo wan de shen ji dong ye ji sin tong ju de ba de tong gu yo le de le de to ni ni ji song de jo wa de tong wan ji to ha ko wa de ni ji yo wa Then Tato Jeve Community, Otomba, Sugar, Rangis, or longer, took you like Chabatokudi, same particular than Jeve Cassi. This did calling nothing on the daily. They don't about the DJ Cachiaret. Then immediately, Tony Cachiaret, Dadi, you were soon. 사족생 사바체메 맞지 다 매바도네 깝들이 다 되는 거 어떤 거 다지니지 매 람지사와 또 봤던 저 말에 투게 끌어 잡아 대 마도베 simply you must have a telephone, you get a jelly chaba, sent it there, there was a child of 3 jelly, 3 chagas one, tattoo and jelly, there's a man with your method, that method, gabato over your little method, young teach what you go, sound mammy, sound man, shake, you got to look over your the method is so hard, that's the method to taste the method in the zone. The method is simply down with your Doctor Togo, you to Manga Peng, you didn't make dinner, some catchy over your method, you did dinner, method Sunday was a do chocolate. That was the song on its tongue, so Tamji, oh, Tamji Sanjay. Directly, answering Gore, Chosum, Sasum, Cosum, the Stephen of Sanguore, Lankang answering a tattoo jail to the top of your there is a Tangata, was the Roman Tamjiki, Sahan answer Lang, this Sahan tattoo jail is to do. Was to provide answer a matter of more Nimi J talk short, more Nimi, several email Hakoni, or double Kabasaya Lord, the tip with a heart or Hakon, you never told your little tiny or my child, but some other needed catchable, the lady so dim as a catchable.
And so now, because we are receiving Shakyamuni empowerment, we might think, people might think that, oh, now I need the sadhana. But that's also not necessary, actually. We need to understand the 3 jewels. So we have said in a Sangha, the body is the Sangha, the speech is the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. The 3 jewels are complete within one Sangha. If you recognize that, it is sufficient. And as a Vajrayana practitioner, in the Vajrayana, the words change, but the meaning doesn't change. So how the words change is that the body is the Lama, and the speech is the Yidam, and the mind is the Dakini. Mind is the Dakini because the mind is empty. And it is empty of the dualistic grasping itself and other. It is emptiness that is imbued with compassion. And so even though ultimately sentient beings do not actually exist, due to being confused, we perceive sentient beings. So there is the union of emptiness and compassion. Things are empty, but also the mind is empty, is realized as empty, but also there is compassion. And so the ultimate result then are the 3 kayas. And the empty essence of the mind is the Dharmakaya. The natural clarity is the Sambhogakaya. and the all-pervasive compassion is the Nirmanakaya. These qualities are complete within one mind. So this is how we engage in practice. But in the beginning, love and compassion are important. Emptiness is also important. Love and compassion, bodhicitta, is the antidote to self-grasping. So although the mind is empty of a self, it is not just empty, it is also clear. It has the nature of clarity. And this all-pervasive, empty, clear nature is pervades all sentient beings who have not realized that, pervades them all with compassion. And so that really is the result of practicing the Buddha Shakyamuni, of having received this empowerment. This is how it is when we mature from the seed of a flower into a stalk and into a flower. The qualities of the flower become manifest. But first, the seed has to ripen. Otherwise, most seeds end up in the garbage. And sometimes we pick out a single one and we plant it, and a flower grows. And then all the qualities of the flowers emerge. There's the taste of the honey and the pleasant smell. And when we see a flower, our mind opens up and so on. So it is just like that. The Buddha is just like this fully ripened flower. And so you can think in this way when you see a flower or when you see anything. And in this way, you develop a pure perception. This is how we develop a pure perception. Then everything is seen as Buddha. So this is how we should practice the Buddha. Seeing the connection between the three jewels and the three roots and the three kayas. Within those 9, actually, whatever path you practice is complete. This is the ultimate result of whatever path you practice. So there are many disciples who practice the Vajrayana, and the Vajrayana secret mantra has a single meaning. For example, in the Vajrakilaya practice, it says, may the ultimate result of non-duality be attained. So may we realize the non-dual mind. So for example, in this world, even though you might have millions of different phones, there's only one electrical power that empowers them all. So that is like the ultimate fruition. And until we realize that, it is important to cultivate love and compassion. The 37 bodhisattva practices are important.
Bedosato Samaya Manevalaya Bedosato Tenova Sector Drome Bava Sodakayo Meva Sabechayo Meva Anarato Meva Sawa Siddha Meba Yeta Sawa Kama Sata Me Tatam Shiri Yang Guru Hong Ha 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 Ho Banga Sawa Tata Gata Beda Mami Munza Beda Bavama Samaya Sado Ome Sawa Tata Gada Abeki Gada Samaya Shiri O Abe the Home Ome Sama Gada So the Mazaba Jada Wa Tomangale Omni Boji and Yavan the Omo die. Oma who the Javales or Thomas Topami was Sapami with the Wachiva di Chedivan, Nankana, Jomaka, I remember the one Mana, the Divana, the Noma. Home by so why to this teaching one, Mangla Santara, the Jijuba, Zutistambara Santara, the Mijuba. Good Janela Santara, the Jijuba, Juatanki, the Santa, and Mazo. Our local, the only Sambara, one gang, Simple Joy, to one like other, some boys, I just about the Namana, the jungle was on it. There's a tell of Toman, the Zawacha, the Children, my boy, Chuba, they are good, and never some by Jawat. 심진남나 피버선 되는 게 제바제 지지지지는 시조제가 되냐 다들 나타봐 주도 먹으러 봐보면 결혼 결정돼 잡지야돼 세점 먼저 가야 면 소소라 꿀려서 라그를 빼러 이제는 밤마제 좀 전부 좀 가다가 뭐 봐도 내다도 소도로 노저로 근데서 사업다 소도는 그래서 매우면서 말아서 홀려나 아나 호박을 매어라도요 이게 사고 님마오다 바이자 사고 그런 소다 저도 저도 봐봐서 또 저도 거다 라브레도 던제 도지 사절 로지 소하는 도지 자와 치보다 대다가 파타나서 도지라와 도에 다서 도지라와 시제 배고 파타면 바타베도 좀 맞아서 벗으면 걸로 저게 와저 오면은 베다 딱하라 비다라 베다 샤라도로 점삼 오면도 안나라가 홍 들이 다다다 맨다가 값들이 속도 뒤서면 사제 탑지 들이 사제 샥자타하고 콜도지 뭐들이 나카카마 페비오스 들이 지는 것은 사제 가면 지금 로아도 심지 삼지 인연들이 다 루가 있으면 들이 맨다 볼 거요 대고도 당 들이 와그 값은 것들이 다 사차 총총을 보이기 저거 봐봐서 대한 걸 어떻게 속대 말이 남카가 뭐한 걸 사토 남게 송을 사탐 찍게 남카를 본바 토리들이 남카 잡들이 사탐 찍게 왕걸 거요 이 왕걸 걸려서 라디아들이 그 탐지들이 차와봐봐는 게 트고요 상하 탑대 싸움 거래 들이 타지래 요 말이 들이 은혜서 하도 대답은 주고요래 대답을 싸움단 거래 들이 토마토 메라블 거래 들이 메라블랑 들이 다다 들이
So then we come to the mandala offering. So we should think here that the Buddhas of the 10 directions in 3 times are come to the space in front of us and fill up the entire universe and all sentient beings together offer body, speech, and mind. So when you receive an empowerment, so don't think that here we are in this small place, and here there is this old monk holding the vase and giving the empowerment, and then I'm not even getting the vase on my head and so on. So don't think like that, but think that the way we receive the empowerment is through the empowerment deities who are holding vases and who are pervading wherever there is space. And then when the empowerment is conferred, the blessings fall down and permeate like raindrops, the entire universe and all sentient beings. So in the secret mantra, we have to think in this skillful way. And so therefore, there is no closeness or distance at all. But this is how you should think that the blessings are being received. So first we are offering a mandala.
And in the yellow prayer book on page 7, an infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of infinite oceans of realms, if I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all the beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and concepts of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Deva Da Kini Ratna Mandala Pratishtha Soha.
Then tan kakao sanje sanje la ta nang so da be yo de ko so do so da ko yo sa
So then think that you're repeating the following supplications in presence of the Buddhas who pervade space.
사제 석자 선발한 거 선발이 강식 터바 이제바 대저 다네 딱걸 세절로 와죠 스게 일어서는 토바에 봐요 송 그동안 사제 통진계 진보 나진 인상용나더니 랍산 사제가 제학교서 학교를 세지 담지 도당근이라게 사제 뒤에서 왔다고 사제 뒤에 샘된 냠도 요래 사제들이 시합지로 나중에 이디오 보고는 사제 일지 잡수 조시와 대가랑 들이 잡수로서 시합들이 난 시합들이 사제 오래들이 동달들이 라신 사제 말이 배송요래 자리 사제 미베랑 샘지 생이들 선 사제가 제자나 토비아요 말때 사제 은이랑 세문을 저 세문을 요구래
The Buddha Shakyamuni himself had said, whoever brings to mind the Buddha will be right with them, and my blessings will be present. So whoever brings to mind the Buddha is there unobstructedly. On a relative level, it is out of great love and great compassion for us that the moment we think of the Buddha is there. And on the ultimate level, the Buddha is already together with our mind. So on the relative level, when we still perceive a duality of self and other, when we supplicate to the Buddha, we have to know how to take refuge. And on the inner level, our own wisdom or intelligence is in essence Buddha. And ultimately, our mind is Buddha, actually. Therefore, Milarepa had said, you will not find the Buddha if you seek him outwardly. But the Buddha is quality abiding within your own mind.
중은 하게 되다 자로까지 되라서 봐 소탈이 된거 공선이면 내디뭐 탐지 상지 샘상지레스 난그 상지에 토고자데 내가 됐다고 그러나 삼바던 경계 삼바던 경계인데 나그 상지레스 오 대성무서는 토야 됐다고 그러나 삼바던 경계 때 토고 그래 때 토는 왕고 토고래 대다는데 와서 거랬지.
So on the external level, the Buddha appears in the form of the Sangha, as the various Sangha that we also mentioned in this history, and then that their mind is the actual Buddha. And then the inner Buddha within yourself is your own mind of love and compassion. It is the compassion that is infused with loving kindness, and that's really the beginning of the empowerment. That is the mind state that you should hold.
대령 예배 렌치지 도워 달라 가지조.
In English, embodiment of omniscient wisdom who utterly purifies the wheel of existence, through your kindness, please grant me the principal deity of the precious treasury you are setting forth today.
Lama the cheat is also nam jetong, the Jobson Roshing, the Pashapatang, give a Jisayama, Santuk to the Sin, Chibaso, give us our. Give it a Zodang Mati, Jinaga Muro Jimya, none of that give us it and they did those.
So the next please repeat the 5 pure branches of taking refuge, confessing negativities, rejoicing in virtue, cultivating the resolve of bodhicitta, and to dedicate the roots of virtue toward complete enlightenment.
Da jam chi beg ba mege so sha bo ge la ji ran sang je sang che yi ji zong sang je chu dang chon jo la jang che Ba de da jam chi rang yin du ni rab drum ser jang che sen ne ji ba ji jang che cho ke sen ne ji ji ne sen ji tam ji Da ki rung de nier zhang che zhong che yi ong jie bai ji ro la pin ser sang jie zhe bai shuo.
I take refuge in the 3 jewels. I confess all misdeeds and non-virtues. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings and hold Buddha's awakening in mind until attaining awakening. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, in order to fully accomplish the purpose of others and myself. I give rise to bodhicitta, having given rise to the mind of Supreme Awakening. I welcome all sentient beings. I will engage in the supreme bodhisattva conduct that is pleasing to all. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings.
Dalai, Dunba, Sanji, Tawang, Dorji, Dimbe, Kosong, Tokje, Sanab, Jisanawa, Sardaso.
Master, please heed me. Please bestow upon me the empowerment of body, speech, and mind of the Bhagavan, the Buddha Shakyamuni of Bodh Gaya.
무슨 시바바발라 들리면 바고네 다이들당 이게 홍가보서 곰 들이다 또 사게 그래서 바고나 들이더란 게 살아나가 사바나 좀 맥선 들이체나 내가 다와때도 홍가보지 곰들이 산지 탐제지 소저 동일인데 홍는데 요래 홍가보고 이제서 다 맥체 따라가리 사실 고속대로 따라봐 찾아봐 대 람람 세면 찾아봐 내가지는 사실 되는 맥도를 람상 차려봐 대답이 차고래지.
So for the descent of the wisdom being, just visualize a white Hong syllable. If you have a picture of the Buddha Shakyamuni, you can pick it up and hold it in your hands while you close your eyes. And you can visualize at your heart level a moon. On top of that is a white Hong. And the mind of all the Buddhas is emptiness. And that is the essence of the Hong. So visualize this white Hong and close your eyes, and then later when you're asked to open your eyes and at once look at the picture and then have that image appear in your mind. And then later, whenever you close your eyes, the Buddha should appear in your mind like this.
온도안벨레 다다다 홍파이면서 봐줘서 너무서 봐줘서 한 나진 고대게 집에 최선저 똥만이도 저 똥방강래 똥방강래 다외증골제 땡도 홍래 아들까지 그보여서 저발에 저 발에 다외증골 야용서 강외 땡도 홍용서 저발에 도지대와 도지 세비대와 홍그 세밤 탐제 디발에 로마나게 지가 더왕 돌지 딘바 kum도세 좀 도서 샤이저 산이바 예 산홍저 사자당 용념자 용념자 나자마 보고라나바 시베 냠팅 시비 진바 샤브도 저 뭐고 저바 풍부 다니는 뭐 봐다 접다가 늘 라이브 늘남 늘남 설말나 나다 흥분도 이제 어떻게 스기체다 나서 빼면 다 빼마다 돌지 나서 빼마다 돌지라 줘봐 좀 되지 예서 삼바 세포 라베지 비지 예 rinpoche 나야당 용으로 시가야가 배도다 제바나 바 용도 지리고서 가고 예 rinpoche 나야당 용 빼마 용 빼마도 바대니 좀 되지 잘라 다시 그봐 좀 되게 진이를 참가보 희니라 점모보 상이라 감세보 자라 감마보 따발 감장거 너무 우서 밤가보 남 다와냐 가와를 우서 네바 그러니까 홍의 용서 저 발에 너지도 빼면 등도 홍가 보는 바 용서 저 발에 있어 봐 랑자와 양자 고바 대다가 따올 온 거만 와 아무 뭐야 홍고 대서는 어저께 이게 선바 손에 이제 더 봐다 이제 도티는 가봐 봐도 그만나 섭섭섭섭 말게만 봐도 아베다 홍조 하잖아 아비자야 아베다 홍 자나야 아베다 홍조 하잖아 아베다 홍 자나 아비자야 아베다 홍 Atamaji Sereti, Tobasaji Zuni, Jigzag, the Mectamian, Tobasaji, Doji got it, Tama Maboyore, Tiri Tomomaibe, Sanabiore, Titi Young and the Senator. This is a job of Catalan, Egypt, they are not job of Catalan with the Doji. This not to boy, they had just asked boy, they go out to shut about the already.
So now open your eyes and look at the image of Buddha Shakyamuni, and then again and again close your eyes and have this image appear in your mind. Especially there's this image of the Buddha in Bodh Gaya that actually contains very special blessings. So that should appear in your mind again and again. That is why I also insisted that this image has to be on our refuge card, not in the Great Enlightenment Stupa in Bodh Gaya. That's a very special image, and that should appear in your mind.
On bedan grindi barda zo on bedan nevede barda zo doje je sajela doje che da wan yo de yo le che da da de dan dalla da zo la je yo mo jo so ba te javar go wa go ba te sa jo so ba na jo ta shi jo sa jo so ma do jo de le ni phone jo ge na phone jo so jo so phone jo ge de se 사이 보다 보면 요 소문에서 독자들이 받으라서 거든 라이브에도 그걸로서 참 이거 봐가 보고 저 이런 게 되게 좀 저기 와도는 고마라 뭐한 거는 뭐 왕거라도 제제반에 아가서 봐야서 해대벼 사세고 저사는 내려서 와좀 봐서 오면서 와도 안 가다 베게가데 소마야 게레 오면서 와도 안 가다 나 베게가 소마야 게레 오면서 와도 안 가다 베게가 돼서 마야 게레 오다가다 베케가 돼서 마야 게레 디카르들이 왕가사 스키를 로마가 장도냐바거든이 사범 사이범 보모 삼지고 도마코너들이 왕거크요래 왕지랑은 대요래 대노 들이 대네 왕타지는 요 말에 빠르더니지 왕까지나들 라마 서고 왕나나더니 소속에더니 왕도 토크요래 쪼대바고래 대바메라 냠지요나 요거 말에 내가 말아야 비해서 말에 대바 동거 나오는데 야거들이 형님도 또 대바도 또 대바 어쩌더니 사다 도가 카타 거요래 베르다 네발레 로마가랑 거 무슨 소마스니 판자보마도 다 참는 로마 거 어디 턱이 저 도용이 보지왕이 좀 버대요 베지다에 또 대바래지
So then think that there are as many empowerment deities as there are sentient beings and disciples, and they all receive the empowerment from these empowerment deities. So this is how it is also explained in the commentary of the empowerment. So then it doesn't really matter how close or distant we are. Basically, whenever you're receiving an empowerment, and from whomever you're receiving an empowerment, this is how you actually receive the empowerment. What's most important for this is to have faith. If you lack faith, then even if we are together in person, it still won't, the empowerment will not be received. So therefore, Milarepa also said, so what is most important is faith. Faith and compassion. And so when that is present, then even like inanimate objects like earth and rocks will kind of perform a function or speak and so on. For example, in Nepal, there is this self-arisen Tara image on a rock that is an actual Nirmanakaya form. So people actually venerate it as the actual emanation of Tara, even though it is just a rock. But what's most important is how we see it with faith.
그렇게 저는 그러면 밥에 뭐가 나는 집에 봐도 이제 포도도 왕가 세저로 원다 이제 되는 거 뭐 사지 뱀맞이 받다면 제가 저는 이제 이거 다시 당보 다시 포도도 보였는데 대다 지스 나의 류제고는 사고스마 박차테 되다 제바다 그 지스는 말리바 톱 류라이 제는 나동 소도를 보고 왕 제가 쪼거도 바까바지도 세바이노.
Being thus initiated, the karmic imprints and defilements accumulated with the body and all grasping at them are purified, and you have received the complete form empowerment. You are now empowered to practice the generation stage of visualizing your body as a deity, the union of appearance and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Nirmanakaya.
류들 하자 착과신 받지 뭐 이제 네들이다 누바데 대상이 싫어 봐자 류지 초아디 류들 나디 제대 건너디 뭐 차대 건너들이 될 류지 저는 동네 참아요 거 류지 나디 자세 총나들이 따뜻하고 따레지.
So here we said to purify the body and all grasping at the body. So the karmic imprints and defilements with of the body and all grasping at them. So the more, the less we grasp at the body, the more we receive those like these blessings, the less we grasp at the body, and the less we grasp at the body, the lesser also will be this feeling toward that we have toward the body. So we will be able to have control over those feelings. And the more the less we cherish the body, and the more we see the body as an old pair of clothing. Then the more we are attached to this body, the more of these physical obscurations we have. So that's the physical obscurations, the attachment to the body. And later, when you die, it is this imprint of clinging to the body as mind that you will bring with you, and that will lead to more fear and suffering. So actually, the more you identify and cling to the body, like the less of a fixation you have, the greater the sign that these obscurations are being purified. Then in order to receive the speech empowerment, please repeat. Vajra holder, please heed me. For the benefit of beings, please grant me the great wisdom of the mantra empowerment, which is the source of all accomplishments.
Mami chikla infi je tsara da hangshan sawu da jiba zhu xialin tong qiang de xia de xiu ne ning ge hangshan sawu da jiba la su su chola che ya ba da tabar jiba mi ba da jiba nga de ji de zo tani de da mi ba de lu bu de su ka hangshan gong song ne yin na de kan de ni de 남카큰 플라이 토가는 감정 거고 되지 감정들이 어젠트리 되니 어제는 감정 장이 받으니 인청만 보트 그래서 홍하데 지지 제바가는 라는 니가 홍대 요래 담아니 사우 홍대 다리 공대 이 홍대 타니 진짜 온 아베자 홍소하데 샤그랑 하데니 고바 용나 코와 예서 코데 용도 고데 예서 코데 tini dan khole tini kale khole tini jima megam sowa tini maga rangcha namlu sowa tini dra chibu dra ma tabaru gongo yore tini te kampi di tadang haa nirubi na jesong haa te changka ka che de mari gomdi ti desa gomi tao haa dra gom shiba honga tani tini ti choli kale khol shiba tini khoa ta hata yogo dra sang shiba khol tani tini nipa nyewa nipa tini dhruva la jo unga tini weze tobi gom tobi tini maa tini weze tuni tini sabata hingi weze tuni tini dhruva la taa dhruva ka dhruva tongu yore maa changka mari ti khoji ki tse tini teri pe jana tini tata changka ka tse rawa songu yoro zo tini rangi nyamna te tawa tini chota togo re ti
So there's this visualization how the mantra garland emerges from the Vajra master, and then we receive it. But so how we should actually visualize is that from the heart, in the heart of the deity abiding in space, light radiates, and along with that, inconceivable mantra garlands and mantra syllables emerge. And as you repeat the mantra, so think that you receive such a mantra garland around the hong at the heart, which you already have. So you already have visualized the hong at your heart. And as you repeat the mantra, think that now you have received this mantra garland around the hong, and it is it first is situated, it is set up in a counterclockwise manner, but then when it rotates, it turns clockwise. And so first it turns very slowly, and then it accelerates so fast that you cannot even visually perceive it any longer. And it just gives off a natural sound, like the sound given off by a turning a jet plane engine. So it becomes very, very fast. So this is how we practice the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. And here the visualization is most important, and not the numbers of mantra that are being accumulated. So for the visualization, first you visualize the hung surrounded by the mantra garland. And then it slowly begins to turn, and then it turns very quickly, so fast that you cannot even see it any longer, and that you can just hear the sound that comes from the spinning mantra garland. So that is the approach and the close approach. And the accomplishment, the 3rd step, is when then from this spinning mantra garland, light rays emanate and gather back. These are the light rays of love and compassion. And that is the result of the 3rd step, the accomplishment. And so here, the number of mantras is actually, most people consider that as the main kind of measure of accomplishment, is the number of mantras that they have accumulated. But actually, we should pay more attention to the experience and the visualization that we gain as a measure of accomplishment.
Om Abeda Hong Soha. Om Abeda Hong Soha. Om Abeda Hong Soha. Gyondi Dala Sala Ji Dala Niewar Zedo Zoi. Gyondi Dala Dala Ji Dala Goa Zedo Zoi. Hajang Gudota Nejang Terjuk Deman Zedo Zoi. Chale Zokwan Zedo Zoi. Om Sutrati Rambe Zaya Zowa. Ni wasi me chora mayo wa jisi sima chakir hata ma chuba. Chuja zaba chego na chisi wa dani jitege wa tashi jiba wa tashi pato so beta da dele sho. Teta jisa na me nga ge gone sabba chima pakcha tenzi za chiba ta. So ge jisa na wa maliba top. nga lai sang ha chak tong sung jo ge ba ko ba la wan de lo ko de ba ka ba che de se ba ya no.
Being thus initiated, the karmic imprints and defilements accumulated with the speech and all grasping at them are purified, and you have received the complete speech empowerment. You are now empowered to recite the deity's secret mantra, the union of sound and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Sambhogakaya.
Young to die by touching, die by taking your toes on my head. They would take Nibo the channel, Lasa Gary, when he was the channel, that control. Tell it in the Dadun, the DJ Tobato. Hug to Dagatun Terry, Jimman had a little hug Diane Conson, the Lilaga, Tavaxton, the Bachon, children, Niba channel, Gaya Meva, Menima channel, Noya Meva. Ben such a bit like somebody, the Shannon. To be government majority, maybe a government majority. Raggy Oti like the Bachiota Chini to watch in a Gaya, maybe Nobamena, the little checkers about the Titi, Nagadabata, Tati, Nagadabashi was sent Twati. Twati, the devil, Twati, that's similar little Bachayo on your head. Twati them in a lot of them in the two. Kasi dektina ne wachita me tatu teni ngaga de batari teni zogr pachayo me de ngaga pachayo me de teni sen kon tama de to yore hajan karchi won hibe yang de piba chibo yore hibe dayang hibo ra ge do wa de china kamana dang jana mata mama ba tamjera de pacha se yore piba chibo yore.
There's great benefit in reciting the mantra in a melodious melody, in a sound, like in a melodious chant, as it is pleasing to the ear. And this sound of the mantra actually does not place further imprint, like an ordinary imprint in the mind. Normally, when we hear somebody saying something nice, then immediately we like that. And if somebody says something unpleasant, then immediately we get angry. And so the fault really is that we make is that we are grasping at the existence of sound. We cling to the true existence of sound that is actually empty. So through the mantra, when we habituate to the sound of the mantra, as we are abiding within the view, our grasping diminishes. And when it diminishes, then we will not be so happy when somebody says something nice, and it will not really affect us negatively when somebody says something unpleasant to us. Shakyamuni said in his words of excellent advice, he said that when one doesn't delight in praise and one doesn't is unharmed by blame, such a quality is a defining characteristic of a holy being. So when there is no grasping at sound, then you will not be overjoyed when somebody says something pleasant, and you will not be upset when somebody blames you. So this is called being patient with regard to words. And it is a sign of having purified the defilements of speech. A speech obscuration is basically the feeling that remains. It is the feeling that obscures, that places the imprint in the mind. So this is also explained in the 37 Bodhisattva practices. So if you have such patience, then no matter how much others put you down, it will not affect you negatively in any way. And that is a sign of having purified speech obscurations. So then nothing can obscure you. You won't form imprints of body or physical and also no speech imprints. And then the mind will just abide pure like space. So that's very important. That is why the mantra sound in melody, in a pleasing melody, is very important. That is why it's also good to play the sound of the mantra around the clock, also at night in your home. That will clear away those imprints in the minds of humans and non-humans. It's of great benefit.
Dane, Rola, Pedonza, Pavo, Doje, Lopunji, Loncho, Tenzi, Jesus.
Then in order to receive the mind empowerment, please repeat the following. Vajra holder, please heed me for the benefit of beings. Courageous Vajra master, please cause the samadhi of the supreme mind to arise.
Oh, Power doji lobu ba de jena power is kang power is sim je se me ha ko de jing dang ji yao sa yo ma de jing dang ji chuan chu jing dang yo de ni chuo le de ba cha de de jing dang yo de sim je se me le ha ko so de so jing dang yo ma de doji lobu ji 티 로초 데이터 소소게 제시면 동도선 소소요 데이터들이 정상도 자용 거래. 다다 20바다 직디바 제발까리 20바되나 sen 대식이고 그런 제시면 와 되고 대식이 동도 와서 20바라고 요래. 죽기 좀 있어요 나들. 다지 니우니 될 지와든 좋아요. 직딩 바지. 직딩 바들 직고치 직능도 동의를 맞아. 가리는 직능도 동의를 맞아. 직고치는 좀 직딩 바지. 지치바 하고는 때 달고 똥터지 다지 털어요. 다지 비들 때 다지 이제 영어요 말에 들이 텔레들이 왕거 동당 타톡 탐제들이다. 저거박차장 다 샘은 이들이 차왔대. 이 다서는 샘코는 안 시코는 들이 공리제 반하지. 들이 소소랑 게 시주에 와서 소소랑 게 이렇게 또서 다시라기 parado스 맞대레스. 니가비들이 다 뭐가 잠을 요래 들이 마늘 다 소소를 잠자리 perio래. 들이 마늘 지나는 들이 플라이시바데 들이 토소의 홍대오 들이 랑 홍라터들이 홍대건 들서부터 오지서 만나고 제래 들 가디잖아들이 홍대건 들이 다 홍문에 라탄테 토소 홍대 라는 무스터는 토송사 들이랑 홍대를 텐들이 들이 선학체체로 그래 때 강이 선학체와 샤상티 또든가 상티 총총되잖아. 상티 치러 매 총총되지는 매 속치하게 가울들이 매치고 잘 빼대다면 소소를 매봐 말에 대신 뭐니 대사 시랍 요래 대신 뭐용지 대다다티 공공 빌곰자 거래들이 곰잡쇼지.
So the courageous Vajramaster, the Vajramaster is courageous because the Vajramaster has realized that the mind is without birth and death. When you realize that, there is no fear. We are afraid of dying. We are afraid due to our karma and imprints. But when you realize that the mind is without birth and death, then there's also no more fear. So this is the supreme mind, that has realized that mind transcends birth and death. So in this way, you separate from fear. And so, what is the difference between a wisdom being and a mundane being? A wisdom being, a wisdom deity, has realized that mind transcends birth and death. And it doesn't matter what kind of being one is, with a body or without a body. When there is a dualistic perception of self and other, then there is birth and death. That is a worldly being. And a worldly being is not separated from fear and from suffering, because they have not realized that. So that is the difference. So in order to separate from this fear, we have to recognize that all faults arise from self-grasping. And when there is no self-grasping, there also is no dualistic perception of self and other. So then we purify the obscurations of body and the obscurations of speech in this way, and the obscurations of the mind are purified when even the most subtle dualistic grasping becomes purified. So as you mentioned before, then, like in the Heart Sutra, it is said it is the sphere of one's own self-knowing wisdom. When you realize the nature of the mind, that is the perfection of wisdom. And so there is much to the visualization, but think that the Mani pill that you are taking, so there's this Mani blessing pills that I've distributed. So these represent the wisdom being. And so when you eat the Mani pill, think that at its center is a Hung syllable. And as you swallow the pill, think that it dissolves into the Hung syllable at your heart. And then stay in this state of meditation and do not follow any thoughts pertaining to the past, present, or future. Just meditate on the syllable Hung. It is the heart essence, or the seed syllable of all the deities. So when you visualize the Hong, that in itself is meditation. So think that the Hong that you swallow dissolves into the Hong at your heart, and then the blessings will further and further increase, because the blessing really is the power of the deity's love. First, your own love is very small, and then it becomes stronger and stronger. It is just like first the fire is very weak, and then you nourish the fire and it becomes a strong fire. And this is possible because you possess Buddha nature. So because you possess Buddha nature, you already have at least some wisdom, and that becomes further and further developed. So here at this point, please meditate.
Namkani, Da Shakyatava, Chaba Babadani, Babli, Three Romata, Tamsons, the Nirangdi, Sanjeta Yemiva, Chasons of Gongati, Yenatita, Nidrank, some Chatti, some Krangati, Tata, Sendan Namka Chebi, Basun. Oh, Namka Nampin, Tobori. Diri namka taribor masa. Panang tobani namka sama chapde. Chapa tobani di bana namka yordi. Diri namka chung chung zo. Ya namka ta gasa daji ni sagu dogs. Lüde de luo da ores luo. Ta de ni zo yordi. E kong toba de namka yordi. De toba ni sama. Toni chapa ni de. Oh, toma ni resi, ekong ni resi. Ya te, ta ekong ni kado, yomai. Napa ni, napa sāne, kasa ka chade. Lüge nang senang inga, nang kwe machaso yom ingu chuchi kana. Nang kada, zogde toma ni zogde song. Te tau chile, oh, ta sem ibola tine, toya mdo nang kada chikbari. Ya, ta chichong nang kada ni, Mado Sami Koak in some Motanga. The time said, so go down, Bakami, three Nato, Tampa, Ya. Just a double my job, the young Mr. the church to say. They died down and did Jadela, the Quatini. Three judges, Jad Pache, said the things, chair was cut in Italy. Some Tobanina Doyle. Tobaji was seven the Babba. Titan Doyle, that down, the Gobjab, the young time of the Jadder, some dead, the treason.
So for the visualization here in the mind empowerment, we visualize that from the space, Buddha Shakyamuni forms descend down like rain falling down and dissolve into the disciples. And then you think that Buddha Shakyamuni and you have merged indivisibly. But actually, at this point, you should look at your mind. The mind and space are indivisible. So don't think that when you think of space, that it's the sky up there that's really far away. So don't think in this way, but space is everywhere. It's not just the sky high up in the sky, but it's the space right in front of you. Everything is pervaded by empty space. So for example, I'm guessing Rinpoche made two circles with his finger. I can't see it, but so you have two circles like this. So you're creating two empty spaces, two small empty spaces. But this is what we do when we perceive a duality of self and other, like this body and that body. We create this duality, like two circles. But then the inside is empty. Actually, it is indivisible. So now when you open up these two rings, then where are the two emptinesses? Then they are one. They're gone. They don't actually exist. So it is just like that. Empty space pervades everywhere, the outer and the inner. It is said, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. So this is how you see the nature of the mind. It is indivisible from space. So this is how you first gain an understanding that there is no division, no duality within space. So reflect in this way as you meditate. And then when you actually meditate, let all thinking be. Don't hold on to anything whatsoever. It is said, without a single thought, look decisively at the ultimate nature of the mind. So now when you hear the gong, or this kind of signal, focus your attention just on this sound. And then the sound gradually diminishes and disappears. And in the same way, the mind, the thinking diminishes in this way. So the mind goes into emptiness. And that means without any grasping. There's no grasping in emptiness. So meditate on this sound in this way over and over again, and look at your mind.
Okay, everyone, our power went out, so now we are back. Everyone, our power went out, and now we're back online.
Om Ahom. Gende namba jude de rashi so la da Lama je jube ne toji choran go sa je da pa je dun je bi ge wa rashi so ma ra je phun do be dang de le yo Teta Jason Nave, Ija Gone, Sapphire, Tuma, Pacha, Terdiza, Jibata, Toja Jisada, Maliba, Top, Sam Lai, Toja, Langi, Satlong, so Yoga, Bagobala, Wang, Drew, Chukotova, Kapa, Jesus, no.
Being thus initiated, the karmic imprints and defilements accumulated with the mind and all grasping at them are purified, and you have received the complete mind empowerment. You are now empowered to meditate on the nature of the deity's mind, the union of clarity and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Dharmakaya.
Oh, that's go to some Tamche and Drew, Samson Divine, some Dono Sanji was similarly, the Shakyamuni and Sajuk Saman, the Tobayam mess. Oh, sending Nidim and Nakata was Toyori. Take out Thomas on Sajus one, Kaya Toyo, Kaya Toso, take out Toyo marriage. Take out Matopa the Tona, the Taji Chord to Matobayam made. Take me by the top of the Matoba Chido, they come to a Toyori, she loved the paradise about Toyori, she loved the paradise about the Songre. So I just one the Toba maybe said, Chick Matabayam made, Toba, the whole Toba made, didn't Matabayam made, Toba me, but Toba Mataba Chitam, Mataba Karin, there is a little top song, that is Sarge. Don't Sarge, so Hako songs. Don't kind Thomas. Oh, Matabayang made the sour take Hako something. Sour the Toman is the same tie took the on this after so yogurt bagomara one day. To Tato Jails had you did something telling to go your Pa Saji on the Kari Chiruk Dago your Mary. To the Jalasam base only. Tak top Jarwe Sim Sanji. Manjur me choose on you deal to dog get doing so. This same tattoo, Jevaster, Cochon, Sagi or to the sort of teletry, Jig Wook and Roma Chapiman and so on. Sinam don't me, she like this is the charge, just say I don't want to immediately from a job the sword. The same email hack was a thing. Would have touched Tatuk Sanjay on my sending driver. They told us in Rangi to Yam the Dovio, the three, Tawan, the injection.
So as Milarepa had said, finally the results of new meditation and conduct are all within the mind. The Buddha is within one's own mind. In the Heart Sutra, it also says the bodhisattvas do not gain anything. And that is what they have gained is that they have realized the space-like non-dual nature of the mind. And so, can you still hear me? I hear some strange noises. So in that sense, having obtained space, there's nothing that they have obtained because it's space. But then if one obtains that, one has obtained the supreme. So therefore, it is not that they haven't obtained anything. So what they have obtained is the perfection of wisdom. So in the Heart Sutra, therefore, it says the bodhisattvas have not obtained anything, but it's not that they haven't obtained anything. When one obtains that which is not the unattainable, that's the supreme attaining. So what they have obtained is the nature of the mind, which is empty and it is clear. So when there's a clear knowing, I have understood, and there's emptiness, there is nothing that is obtained. And this non-attainment is clearly known by the mind. So here in the empowerment text, it just said that one is empowered to meditate on the nature of the deity's mind, the union of clarity and emptiness. Everything is complete within that. The ultimate result is that. Maitreya had also said that the mind from which nothing is to be purified and which has nothing to gain is Buddha. It is unchanging, immaculate suchness. It is virtues, its qualities spontaneously perfected. And then also what Thigden Sumgön said in the 7 verses of protection to Tara, by grasping at the non-dual self-arisen mind, by grasping at this mind with dualistic imprints, some have not realized the non-dual nature of the mind. So, Mother of non-duality, please protect them. When ultimate enlightenment is attained, the supreme is attained. Therefore it says, may the ultimate attainment for the sake of self and others be obtained. So that it completes the empowerment. Now I didn't hear anything except for Wangya. I only heard the last sentence. I'm sorry, it was off. Can you hear me though? I didn't hear anything. We have received the empowerment of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and the precious Buddha's teachings in this world go back to the Buddha Shakyamuni. So therefore, it is just like we have hundreds of different rivers which all converge into one. And so all the teachings, all the empowerments converge into the Buddha Shakyamuni. He's the upholder of the teachings, the Lord of the Dharma. And for this reason, this empowerment is the essence of all empowerments. And once you have received this empowerment, like any other empowerment, the life force of the empowerment is to keep the samaya. And even if you receive 100 empowerments, the root samaya is always a single one. And this is the one that needs to be observed. So we will repeat the samaya.
소저나 욕배 상계당 장첩 선바 탐제 Dalai, Gong So So, Bararang Meng Shi Jue,
You say your name.
Tun Zane, Zong Te, Jesse, Sanchong Yingbo La, Chi Jie Pa De, La Sanje Tuang Doje Zimba, Yadam Jishar Zong Xing, Jie Yi, Zong Ha, Nire Yende, Jini Se Dawa Jo, Jini Se Dawa Jo.
So for the Samaya, please repeat. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas residing in the 10 directions, please heed me. Master, please heed me from today onwards until attaining the essence of enlightenment. I, who am called, then say your name, will take up the Buddha Shakyamuni of Bodh Gaya as my idam and will recite his mantra daily to whatever extent I am able.
Oh, 타토 님이 또 다지 이베와 마토고 바데 인조 제네 사족sem데 사족sem 예담데 사종생지 사족sem 예담 상네 예담데 sem데 종고리 예담데 sem데 가리데 또 사바체메바 네 종들이 사족sem데 타토는 타토 동당 사족sem도 다세리 네 동당 사족sem도 네 바데 니메와 마토고 바데 네 니우나 네 인조 제 그 켈리기오래 사라는 서도나 하카리도나 되고요 라카리 겁나 되고요 타도 사제 샘지 참아 찍봐요 자와서 이신도 잭데 드리지 켈리기 드리타다라는 게 지담가리나 조상 족sem래 드리 참아들이 다시 들으셔요 로모 조들이 담색데 도지분도디 뜨는 잡을 기록 탐지 나게지 디는이라는 것들이 라마를 봤으면 좋고 똑같이 그게 탐지들이 시대 예언치들이 들이 사마도 이번도데 또 로마 발라 탐지 종고요래 로마 발라들이 삼제 탐지기만 삼제리 삼제 체라 들친데서 이게 내가다 내가 저때 다 돌아도 요래 너는 탐지 마송들 하고 종라데 봤더니 사족sem 라우나 링이 소소는 도요래 청리지들이 주 당책차로 도지 야와 계속 하리 주 사족sem 삼지지 최소는 시단 거라도 야wan도 그래 그때다 삼고 땅 들이다당서 또 자라는 것이 샤트인자더니 마음들이 자는 로마한테 들릴 거면요 제들이 참아 다시 데리고만 보여 저는 왕을 피봤던 제가 다시 데리고만 보여.
And so here in the empowerment words, in the Samaya words, it says that whichever deity you have received empowerment from, we say here that I will take up this deity as my yidam and I will recite the mantra daily. So this is what it says in the words, but then actually there are countless deities and there are countless mantras too, but ultimately they all have the same mind, and it is the deity's mind that we need to hold on to from now onward until we attain enlightenment. And so the deity's mind, what's most important for us is the relative bodhicitta. It is the compassion that is infused with loving kindness. And that needs to be sustained until we have realized that self and other are indivisible, until we have realized non-duality. Until then, we have to consider others as more important. So really, we are taking up bodhicitta as the Yidam deity, because we are taking up the Yidam's mind as the Yidam, and the Yidam's mind is bodhicitta. It is immeasurable love and compassion, and that is sustained until we realize ultimate bodhicitta, until the self has diminished. Until then, until we realize non-duality, the vow that we are taking is that until then, I'm going to consider others as more important. And that is most important regardless of what mantra you recite or what deity you visualize. The mind is always the same. Within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all the Buddhas are one. So therefore, whichever is your Yidam deity, you practice that, and mainly you hold on to bodhicitta. So, so that's we treat disciples when it comes to keeping the samaya. Now we say that we are Vajra siblings. So all of our Vajra siblings, specifically, and then in a broader sense, all followers of any spirituality in the world or a religion are like a family. We should see them as like a family. And then in particular, all those who have entered the 3 levels of the path, and then in particular of those Sangha of the Mahayana, they are very close relatives. And then even closer are the Vajrayana, Vajra siblings. So the samaya with the Vajra siblings is most important. And what that means is to sustain love continuously, to not allow love to become interrupted. Because when that continuum of love becomes interrupted, you have destroyed all causes of happiness in this and future lives. So when you lose this samaya, when you lose your bodhicitta, you lose your samaya, and then you self are lost. When you lose bodhicitta, then it will drag you into the 3 lower realms. So in the empowerment text, it says, if you lose your samaya, if you do not keep your samaya, you will take birth in the Vajra hell. But what it really means is that if you lose your love, for example, you get angry, you lose your love, the natural manifestation of anger is hell, naturally. So now at the end, we will recite the long life prayer for His Holiness Dalai Lama, and also some brief dedication prayers. And then disciples, please rest. Many dashi dele to you, and thank you, many dashi dele, for joining the empowerment.
Sanjo Semjo Rinpoche Maji Bana Ji Jir Ji Bai Yang Bai Mi Bai Yang Gong Re Gong De Be Wai Yo
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Sanjay Tandani Yore, Sanjay the Pokang dinner, then when you get the Nanji, you should sugar, Richiro Yore, Duditan Toritenam, Kogat and Web there, Pidgin Bojet, Robot Jamnan, Trust Song of them with any Richiro Dory, Tigan with any Toritenam, Sanjay Tonta. Santi Tonta di Junior, take Santi the Jun Machi, but they among the Danta, they were tempted to get baby generally, Tata Sangi Yungti, Samihako Yore, Tata Sangi, the Tata Gangi, Tamchi, Tambo, Kangi, Yongi, Patakari, Drop or Tamakari, Pengi, the Sangan Yore, they were sang the Garchimori, they Tata Santi, Tata. The very cheddar the Santi, I don't know what it is, there is a Labjaki, no more in
Yes, we're having some smoke offering substance here. And so where this comes from, a specific one, it was consecrated at a time in the old days, long time ago in Nangchen, Yushu, when precious pills were being consecrated by Dori Tsenam, with the help of also Benjamin Rinpoche. And at that time, so 350,000 were consecrated. I don't know what measure it now is, like a package or something. And so the continuum of this smoke offering substance is uninterrupted. So it has been mixed with others to increase it, but it's uninterrupted. So many of you know about the good qualities, the benefits of the smoke offering practice. We practice it, for example, whenever we encounter difficulties. So then the smoke offering itself also explains where these difficulties really come from, and then what can we do about them. So therefore, the smoke offering is also a very important practice. And so we have this smoke offering, this powder or substance here now, and I'm also going to consecrate it.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for bestowing this profound empowerment for us all. And thank you for blessing the juniper incense that was harvested here at the Garchen Institute. It's available to purchase through our web store. And if anybody has a question they want to ask Garchen Rinpoche about the Shakyamuni Buddha practice, they can do that when he does the Q&A on Saturday, July 18th. So please submit your question. He will also be answering questions on the Mahamudra and Dzogchen text that he will be teaching on for 4 days starting on July 13th. And please check our schedule for any changes in the schedule. Drupal Rinchen Dorje will be doing a Q&A on the Chakrasamvara practice on July 14th at 2:30 in the afternoon. And we ask that you submit your questions after he gives the empowerment tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. And then he'll give teaching on the commentary for Chakrasamvara practice in the afternoon tomorrow. So please submit your questions after his teachings if you have any. And there will be Chakrasamvara practice after the Q&A on July 14th. Thank you all for joining, and we will be joining together again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Everyone stay safe.
Dalai.